I walked into this Amazon Overstock store in search of video games and honestly didn't expect to find much. However, I ended up finding Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch in the glass case, as well as a few other games and some headsets. Back on the shelves, they ended up having Ring Fit Adventure for the Switch, even though it was in a really beat up box. And last but not least, I found this 8bitdo arcade stick for the Xbox on the shelves behind the glass case and the counter, and I ended up picking it up for $54. So let's go ahead and open this up, see if everything is in it. We'll go ahead and test it, see what this is worth, what it's selling for brand new, what it's selling for used in this condition, and see if this was even worth picking up. First off, obviously, I've got it in the box. We're gonna go ahead and open it up, and right out the bat here, you can see that there is definitely a arcade stick in it, but is everything that I need in it to go along with it. Now, I believe this is a wireless arcade stick as well, but it did have the 8bitdo USB-C to USB-A, which it also has a disconnect like the old Xbox controllers used to have, which I thought was pretty interesting. I haven't gotten any further than that, so we'll just have to pull this out of the box. And underneath, you have the instruction booklet, which isn't anything fancy. It's just the instructions. And then the box itself. So we'll set that down aside. And then we've got the arcade stick with some foam around it. So go ahead and pull that foam right off the bat. First off, the reason I ended up picking this up was because, one, I wanted one of these things in my collection, and they're totally awesome. And I also noticed that they have a 14-day return warranty. So if this thing does not work, I can always just take it back in and get my money back. So at least there is potential. If it doesn't work, I can always get my money back. But for the most part, everything here looks to be good. All the buttons are there. None of the buttons look busted. The joystick is functional. All the switches work as well. But on the back here is a receiver, so let's go ahead and see if it's in there. I really hope it is, but I got a little flathead screwdriver we'll just pop it open with. And right off the bat, you could see when I popped it open, you can see the receiver is actually in it, which is totally awesome. It's just a little USB receiver, but I'm glad that this is in here. That kind of gives me hope that this thing is going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the arcade stick with my Xbox here, and we're going to see if this thing works or not and what's wrong with it if it doesn't work. First off, let's go ahead and plug this in via USB and see if that will work. I think that's probably the first place to start here. So go ahead and plug it in and plug it into the console itself. And we've got a light right away, so hopefully that means, ooh, okay, so right off the bat, it looks like everything is working. Let's go ahead and do some settings. We'll go ahead and check to see that all of these presets are working. Okay, so everything there works. Let's see. We change it to right stick, change it to the left stick, and I think everything is working so far. That's very exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the USB dongle here, and when you do, it should start blinking, but for good measures, I went ahead and pressed the sync button. As you can tell, everything is turned off here. Make sure you have it set to joystick mode, and then you're just gonna hold that button until it starts flashing. And since this has already been synced, you can tell that everything is working. Now that I have this all hooked up, I think it's time to try this arcade stick by playing a little Mortal Kombat 11. Now, to be fair, I've never actually played Mortal Kombat 11, but I want to check out this arcade stick and see if it's even worth it, and I'll hopefully figure out pretty soon if it is or not. Ooh. All right, so we figured out that this thing actually works, which is totally awesome, but let's see if I paid too much for it or if this was a good price. First off, this has a price of $120 as the retail price, and I only paid $54, which is totally awesome considering this was basically just an open boxed item. But let's go ahead and look this up on eBay sold listings as well as Amazon to see how much this is going for actually for retail. And then let's go ahead and use those eBay sold listings and see if $54 was too much or just right or not enough. All that stuff. So, okay, so I have Amazon pulled up right here. So let's go ahead and 8bitdo arcade stick Xbox and see how much these are actually selling for. First off, it looks like it's selling brand new for $120, which is what was on the sticker. So let's go ahead and see if we can find any that are used and see if there's any cheaper versions. Okay, so it looks like there are new and used sales. So let's see, this one's used like new for $85. We've got a used new for $95. So about 90 to 85 to $100. So maybe like say, let's just say $90 for this thing. So this is probably going for $90 on Amazon. So paying $54 is a pretty good deal. Now let's go ahead and head over to eBay sold listings and see if we can find it for a good price or see if any are selling for cheaper. Got 75. Now these are just regular listings first, and then we'll look at the sold ones. We've got 75 plus free shipping. We've got 95 plus free shipping, 100, 90, 80 with $15 shipped. So let's go ahead and see if there's any sold listings and see what it's actually selling for on eBay. There's $90, but a best offer, so we don't know. 53, so about $60, which is about what I paid for it. Again, 57, 100, so 70. That one's 80 basically. That one's 100. So there were some that were lower, kind of closer to 60, 65, 70. And then there are some up to 70 or up to 100. So I'm going to say like maybe like 75, $80 is probably what this thing is worth. So picking it up for 54 isn't actually that bad of a deal. I did actually test this thing and everything worked, as you could say. So I'm happy about that. Now, I will say, since this place has a 14-day guarantee that this will work, I felt like I had to pick this up. This was a good deal. It's something I would love to have in my collection, and I'm glad I do now. But for the added benefit that it was going to either work or I could return it and get my money back, I knew I had to pick this thing up. This thing looks absolutely insane, and I'm definitely going to have to use it to play some weird games, not just fighting games, because I think that would be fun to kind of try out some different games with this arcade stick. But if you want to see me play any games, comment down below and let me know. But I think that is definitely a good deal. $54 or $55 for this. Absolutely awesome. This is high quality and it feels like it's really nice. So definitely scored here. But I'm going to get out of here and probably hook this up to my Xbox and play some more games. So check out that video out if you haven't already. But honestly, I feel like this is pretty awesome. This is actually really high quality. Obviously, because 8bitdo made it, it's going to be nice. But I'm really impressed with it so far, and I've got to play it some more. So I'm getting out of here, so check out that video out if you haven't already.